I wish I could sit here and tell you that I am being hyperbolic when I tell you that South Africa is on the brink of collapse, but I can't. South Africa just posted the quarterly results for 2025, and we have lost 74K jobs. You might say, but Akalon, that's not that bad. 74K out of a population of 60 million doesn't sound that terrible. Except, let's look at the actual data. This is for 2015. And in 2015, we had a total employment number of 15.5 million. This is the data from 2019 to 2023. And you will notice that in the grand total of 4 years, the South African government was able to add 600,000 jobs to the economy. That is abysmal for what we would call a developing nation. Developing nations are supposed to add that in a single year. In fact, the ANC does actually celebrate that in 2023, saying, hey, boys, we've added nearly 1 million jobs year on year to the South African economy. And again, when you go back, you realize that all they did was recover the jobs that was lost during COVID, which kind of made sense because a lot of businesses had to, if you remember, close down during COVID. And so when those businesses started opening back up, they obviously needed employees to come back. So the South African government is able to add from 15.5 million people employed back in the day, right, to 16.4. So that's 900,000 in 4 years. Sorry, I said 600,000, I meant 900,000. But from 2019 to quarter three of 2023, the South African government is able to add, I'm not making mistakes here, 300,000 jobs to the economy. That is, again, a 4-year period. And in 4 years, 300,000 jobs. That's even worse, right? That is absolutely terrible. Of course, the ANC is still boasting about their 1 million jobs that has been added to the economy. The South African government, of course, goes on and on and on about all of their plans to grow the economy and to get the economy to do even better with their economic restructuring and recovery plan that they adopted in 2020. Now, let's just go back to the PowerPoint here. In 2020, this is when they adopted this plan. And from that moment, they've not been able to make much of a move anywhere. In fact, if we look at actual economic growth, and this is for 2024, you find that the economic growth since the inaction of the economic reconstruction and recovery plan has 0.6% growth. Fantastic growth. Would be fantastic if South Africa was a developed nation with a massive economy. That would be, well, not great, but it wouldn't be absolutely terrible. Of course, it gets even worse when you realize that South Africa's population growth sits at between 1.6 and about 2.4%, which is massively good. You need more people, but you kind of want economic growth to be on par with population growth so that the new people being added to the economy can actually get jobs within the economy and that the economy can keep up with the amount of people that is being added. When you look at 74,000 jobs lost in the first quarter alone, and you take that alongside the 0.6% growth that we had, this of course gets significantly worse when you realize that the growth economically now is 0.1%. But ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. The ANC wants you to know this has nothing to do with BEE. This has nothing to do with affirmative action. This has nothing to do with their socialist and communist programs. I want to be super, super clear. Anyone that thinks that we can vote ourselves out of this clearly doesn't understand the actual scenario. The ANC is still at 60% of the total population or voting population of South Africa. There are people who think that, oh, no, they aren't. They're at 40%. But put the EFF and the MK votes alongside the ANC, and you realize that the ANC voter base has not disappeared. The same people that voted for the ANC back when Nelson Mandela won the vote are the exact same people that is voting for the ANC today. Their support has not really disappeared. The only difference is that there are people like those who vote for the EFF or those who vote for the MK that believe that the ANC has not quite gone fast enough. They want more socialism and communism more faster. So once the ANC embraces the full communist socialist lifestyle, these people will return, or the ANC can literally just team up with these two parties and they will have back 60% or the majority of the vote. Fundamentally, ladies and gentlemen, yes, South Africa is doing absolutely terribly, but I don't know how we fix this. And that's why I said this will affect you. Our economy is dying. Our employment is going down. And if you don't think that's terrible, keep in mind that as employment dies down, as people lose their jobs, economic growth goes down. As economic growth goes down, more people lose their jobs. As more people lose their jobs, and so on and so forth. As the economy starts to do worse, prices will increase. As prices increase, people will have less money available to spend. As people have less money available to spend, the economy will go down. The economy goes down. The jobs go down. The jobs go down. The economy goes down, and so on and so forth. We are currently in a death spiral, and it's all thanks to the ANC. As always, hit the like if you liked, the dislike if you didn't, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.